chakras. Take a few moments, find a seat, find a comfortable seat, and allow your eyes to close. Take a nice full inhale here. And let it go. Just allow yourself to arrive into the space, onto your mat, and into your body. Take a few moments just to arrive, acknowledging any thoughts, any sensations in the body, just kind of checking in, grounding in, settling into this moment. Just let yourself take a few moments to do so. Scan over the body, check in with the thoughts. Give each one some validity. Give it some loving kindness. And just allow yourself to become more present. Take a long inhale. Sigh out. Again, dropping more and more into the present. Trying to forget about what just happened during your day. Try not to think too much or dwell on what's going to happen in the future. Just allowing yourself to be more and more present. And in today's practice, we're going to continue on working into chakras. Going up to the next one, the sacral chakra. So first we have the root chakra down at the base of our spine, Muladhara. Today is Svadhishthana. Svadhishthana is the name of this chakra. It's at the solar plexus, your sacral area, right there just below the belly button and in toward the back of the pelvis, right there sitting just above the base of your spine, that tailbone. And the color of this one is a bright orange. So the root chakra was red, this one is orange. Just start tuning into that area. The low back, the hips, the spine. Those are the areas we're going to target today. Just kind of notice how you're feeling there. Notice what emotions bubble up. So you start to talk about getting into the hips, the low back, and the spine. I'm trying today to just be the observer. Notice what emotions come up. Notice what thoughts come up. And this chakra is all about feeling. So feelings, emotions, pleasure. The intention that goes along with this chakra is you have the right to feel, or I have the right to feel. Or maybe it's just I feel. Give yourself some validity to feel what you feel. Everything you feel, the positive, the negative, the neutral. We'll set that intention with a sigh of the breath. Bring both hands down just below that belly button, cupping that area. Feeling and sending that intention to that chakra, the sacral chakra. Take a nice full inhale. And sigh out. And allow those eyes to blink open and slowly start to transition to that ankle toe stretch. So as I mentioned last week, quite a few of this movements we did last week are very relevant for this next chakra as well. So they both interrelate. That root chakra is the base of all of the chakras, so it kind of helps all of them. So we'll go into that ankle toe stretch. But today we're going to go for more of a flowing type. The movement attached with this chakra is flowing. So we're nice and flowing, where the other one was rounded and centering. This is flowing, so we're going to flow a little bit before we find some stillness. So pause here. We're going to just hold each of these 30 seconds. So toes are tucked. You're up on your heels or leaning slightly forward, wherever feels good. Just kind of feel the sensations you feel this first round. Your toes, your ankles, your knees. Start to tap into that intention of I feel. And start to point those toes, sitting back on those heels. So I feel like it's a little bit faster, less pausing in this one. Just finding a little bit of movement, touching in, grounding us down. This is touching into the Muladhara, that root chakra. And kind of centering that root chakra and then kind of building that up to that orange chakra of the Sacral Chakra. That's Svadhishthana. I said it was hard to say. And slowly transition onto those toes again. So this bright orange color right there below the belly button, below the navel, right along the spine. And in this bright orange, it is a 6-petaled circle, so it's a 6-petaled lotus. And then inside of it, it has this little crescent moon, this little upside down, almost like it's a smile. Go ahead and point those toes again. And so this is considered the smile of all the chakras. Hence the emotions, the pleasure. This is where you're going to feel those. Kind of like when you get butterflies in your stomach, when you get excited about something, those emotions bubble up, or you feel something in your gut. It's kind of right where that chakra resides. And then last round here, tuck those toes. Noticing, seeing if you can feel anything start to move from the base of the spine up toward that chakra. And pointing those toes one last time here. If you were to do maybe this sequence on your own, you could also chant. And there's certain chants, certain sounds that go with each of these chakras. Go ahead and release that. Bring yourself over onto one side, bring those legs out in front. So last week I didn't mention this, but that bottom, that root one is long. So it's long, 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 very low pace. And you might have noticed that when we did our own at the end, it was very low and very grounding. The next one coming up is bomb. So it's bomb, 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 bomb. So you can kind of almost feel it there in your belly when you say it. So you could always say that out loud anytime you want to here. You could say it in your mind. But that is the sound that's attached to this chakra. Go ahead and give those feet a little wiggle. And so again, we're going to go into a little bit of a flow. We're going to go to deer pose. So not necessarily swan yet. We will get to swan, but deer pose are that 90-90 sit. But we're going to have a little flow first. So bringing your legs forward so that your right shin is forward and your left shin is out to the side. We're going to just be flowing a little bit here. So just for the minute. So bring the hands behind you. And then as you exhale, move to the other side. We have to move things around. Good, take an inhale. And then exhale to the other side. Take Take an inhale. And exhale, switch. Continue that little pattern. So you're just kind of warming up the hips, kind of tapping into those sensations in the hips, the knees, the ankles. Flowing with your breath. So just flowing before we find some stillness. Using your breath, find that fluidity of motion, finding that flow. And then the next time you come, so that right shin is forward, pause there. And then check that that femur is coming right out, that long leg bone is coming out from your hip. Your knee is in line with your ankle coming across. You have a little 90-degree angle with that leg. And then check the back leg, see that it's doing the same thing. And then just for a moment, kind of press into your hands and then lift your hips and kind of slide that right hip over to the right a little bit more, but keeping that left knee on the ground. So you're gonna feel a little bit more on that inner flowing of that back hip. Just pausing here upright, just notice what you notice. I'm gonna try to relax the legs a little and find your breath. And so the color is orange with this chakra. I busted out my orange and red tights for you. And the motion is flowing. And the element is water. So with that fluidity, that flowing, that water element. Last week was earth. So it's all about emotions, pleasure. This is where we live. We live in this area. We find our day-to-day life here, like thinking with your guts, that emotional thinking. It's right there in that area. So you can stay upright, or if it feels okay, start to lengthen your torso over that front knee. Just going to feel that sensation. Different things associated with this chakra are envisioning being passionate, envisioning being in the flow of life. Allowing yourself to be mindful of different sensations and senses, to be able to feel. A few more moments here. Taking a full inhale here. Let it go. Slowly start to bring yourself all the way back up. And then transition directly into that other side. So just let those legs go over, set yourself up. Allowing that left leg to be in front. Check the back leg. And then press into the hands, lift the hips slightly, keeping that right knee grounded, slide the hips slightly to the left, just to kind of get more into that inner groin of the back leg. And then just pause upright. Just kind of notice the sensations there, right? Feeling those senses, being mindful of what's happening. Maybe even start to feel that sensation, that swirling sensation of that second chakra. Maybe feeling the release of the press of those meridians and that energy flowing from the other side. And then as you're feeling comfortable, start to lengthen yourself, your torso over that front knee, keeping that front knee down on the ground. So in this chakra, when it's imbalanced, when you're having some imbalances here, when it's not spinning and rotating as it should, you'll find different things that could manifest in this area, things that could be showing themselves. Any reproduction issues, any kidney problems, having issues with menstrual cycles, low back pain, any foot issues. Anytime you feel very rigid in your routines. So anytime you're denying yourself pleasure or play. Be over the emotion. None of us have that. We're very flat with emotions, yes. Maybe there's some chaos. Whenever chaos ensues in your life, this chakra might be a little imbalanced. So doing this sequence will help balance those a little bit, maybe have you feeling a little bit better. About 30 more seconds here. Taking a full inhale here. And let it go. Slowly start to press yourself back up. Come all the way up to center. Just taking those legs out straight, pausing there for a moment. Just going to notice the sensations of the legs. Just feeling the sensations, being allowed to feel what you feel. Acknowledge those sensations. Notice the energy flowing. Then take some time to let that go. Maybe point and flex through the feet. Maybe wiggle the feet from legs from side to side. So then the next one we're going to come into is called square pose. So we're going to try to stack our knees and ankles. That may or may not happen. Block for me definitely comes in handy here, or blanket. But again, we're going to start like we did before, and we're going to kind of flow. So I'm going to kind of show you that flow, and then we'll go into that flow. So basically, you're going to kind of lean back like we did with our deer pose. And you're going to take your right ankle on top of your left, and then just kind of lean forward with that left foot coming in, and then lean back, switching it, and coming forward. So if it's too much, and maybe this knee, this bottom knee doesn't like that, keep the bottom leg straight, lean forward, and then cross it, other leg, and come forward. So we're just kind of tapping into the hips, getting into that. Eventually, we'll stop with our right leg on top, and we'll get into that square pose. Again, I'm very happy it's pose, so I like lots of props here for this to sit. Again, if this doesn't feel good, take that right shin in front of the left shin for cross-leg position. Okay, so just for taking with your breath, right? So legs are out straight. You're gonna take that right ankle over your left. Maybe left leg bends. Take an inhale. Exhale, sit up. Good. Inhale, lean back. Exhale, switch. Inhale, forward. Exhale, lean back. Switch. Good. Just finding your breath, just nice and easy. No rush in the movements. Go with what feels good. Just notice the sensations you feel. So right? There's a lot of times water moves fast, water moves slow. We're trying to be more on the slower side. Finding those sensations. Good. Take one more round to each side, and then when you find that right leg on top again, pause there. Just kind of notice how that feels, right? So maybe that right leg is fine there. Maybe it doesn't feel good. Maybe the bottom leg doesn't feel good. If you need to, stack that right in front of the left, right? And then keep that distance so you're having that nice openness. And if you need to pad things up, maybe you take a block or a blanket and place it underneath so you can relax that top leg a little. This one is just not my friend all the time. Just breathe here. So a lot of outer hips, but really deep in those outer hips. Maybe you're feeling a little bit of knee, outer knee here. Outer knee on the top. So just breathe into it. Try to relax the legs. A lot of times in our flow classes, we flex our feet. So you can kind of just let those legs relax more. And again, going to the edge of that sensation. So finding that point to where you're like, okay, I can hold here. And then if you go too far, you're like, nope, cannot hold there. And find that stillness. And all of these poses have been really good to really tap into that intention of I feel. They really allow you to feel your body. Just allowing yourself to be with those sensations. And mindful of those sensations to maybe start to feel that energy start to flow a little bit more. About 30 more seconds here. Full inhale here. Let it go. Slowly switching sides. So allow yourself to come out, taking that right leg down, left leg on top. See how it feels. And again, if it's too much, left shin in front of the right. So right into that second side. Use any props you need to. Each side is going to be different. So allow yourself to set up mindfully for each side. Just take a scan of the body. Notice where you might be gripping muscularly. Maybe your jaw, your shoulders, maybe your hands. See if you can relax those areas. Continue to breathe and tap into those sensations. If your edge does dissipate, you can always move the block down if your knee is up. If your knees are stacked, you can always start to lengthen your chest forward. But not until those knees and ankles get a lot closer. one more minute here. Just notice those thoughts. Notice what you're feeling. Give it all some validity. Thirty more seconds. Taking a full inhale here. And let it go. Slowly releasing those legs. Bring them out in front of you and pause there. And just notice those sensations. Notice the knees, the hips. Maybe that energy flowing from the legs up toward the pelvis, up toward that chakra. Maybe feeling it go the other way. Maybe starting to envision of being in the floor here. Envision that orange taking over the legs. Feeling what you feel. It might not be pleasure at this moment. Just noticing those emotions. You're going to take any movements you need to let go of that. Release that pose. And so the next one we're going to do is a lunge. So you're going to want to definitely pad your back knee. So you're going to come to a lunge with your right knee forward and your left knee back. Having your blocks will be helpful. Good. So your right foot's forward, your left foot's back. And so again, we're going to take that first minute just to be flowing. So the blocks are coming handy. So we're just going to kind of move. You're going to inhale, come forward. Exhale, just kind of shift back. So just nice and easy and mindful. Just kind of noticing the sensations. And this kind of helps release that last pose we did, allowing the leg to be straight. But eventually, we're going to be tapping into that inner groin area right there. The groins, the hamstrings, the hips, the front of the thigh, so definitely all aspects of that hip. And you have options to go deeper or stay higher, so depending on how your body feels. So it's called the dragon lunge. Dragon series. And then from here, when you get back to that bent position, pause there. And then take your back toes, uncurl them. Hopefully that's okay on your back knee. And just kind of let your hips drop forward. So your hands can stay on the blocks. They can come up to your knee if that feels better. Just kind of settle in here. Notice those sensations on the front of the left hip, the back hip. Any sensations you have on the right hip and groin. And you have options. Maybe those blocks come down if you're not feeling so much sensation. Maybe your hands come all the way down. So just depending on how it's feeling for you. So again, just notice when you're going to go right to that edge, a place that you know you can sustain for another 2 minutes here. Just breathing. And it happens that your edge does dissipate a little bit. That right hand can come inside the leg and you can come down to your block on your elbows. But make sure both elbows are grounding, maybe to the block or to the floor. But again, it wants to be a place where you can hold for the next minute and a half. Just taking nice full breaths. Notice the sensations in the top of the thigh, into the groin, into that front hip and inner groin. Maybe along the back leg that's grounded into the foot, or grounded into the floor, the top of the foot, the knee. Maybe picturing that energy flow up to that second chakra. Moving as if it were water. Notice if you're gripping, you're needing muscular tension in the jaw or the shoulders. Try to release that as you exhale. About 30 more seconds here. Taking a full inhale here. Let it go. If you're down low, mindfully press yourself up. And then shift the hips back, slide that foot back. Your choice. You can do cat-cow. You can do child's pose. Maybe you take a little downward dog to stretch out the backs of the legs. So take any motion you need here just to feel the pose. Release and let go of that pose just for a moment before we go into the second side. And then as you're ready, bring that right knee down, step the left foot forward. Good. Having those blocks for a moment. Good. And then just bending and straightening into that front leg. Just taking your time, using your breath. Trying not to really pause at the top or pause at the bottom, just kind of moving fluidly with like as if you're water from one end to the other. And I usually like these times during the flow is when I kind of remind myself of that little sound. And I almost feel that sound in the chakra, so that bum, 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 bum. Just something I like. This kind of helps release the other side as well. Couple more rounds. And the next time you get back to that bent knee position, pause there for a moment. Uncurl your back toes if they're not, they're already. Kind of let those hips drop forward. You're kind of letting the muscle energy go. That front foot is kind of stopping you. Just kind of notice how that feels. And if that's too low, hands can always go on the knee, and that's going to lift you up a little bit more. It's going to kind of take a little pressure off that front hip. Just breathing here, staying here. As that sensation dissipates, blocks can go down, hands can go down. Just try to stay at your threshold of that edge. It's dragon series. You might need some compression on the front side. You can extension on the back side. A bit of compression in that back knee. Again, just notice where you might be feeling any gripping. Let that go. About 1 more minute here. Taking a full inhale here. Let it go. Slowly start to press yourself upright first. And then shift the hips back, step that left knee back. And then your choice, child's pose, little cat-cow, maybe a little downward dog. Whatever's gonna help you kind of release that pose, take a couple breaths there. And as you're ready, come all the way back down to seated. And just notice the sensations there. Maybe feel a little bit of heat on the front of those thighs. You start to feel that fluid motion of your blood circulating, that energy circulating. Notice the thoughts and emotions attached to any of that. Become that observer. It'll take you a few moments to move the body any way you need to let that go before our next pose. The next pose is going to be butterfly or long-legged butterfly. But again, we're going to flow a little bit first. So you have options for your flow. So we'll eventually come into that long-legged butterfly, but at the beginning, we're just going to kind of move into a little bit of butterfly to Navasana, just kind of building a little bit of fire before we get there. So what that's going to look like, you can have your hands behind you, so you have here, you can lean forward, and then you're going to lean back, lift the knees, and then lean forward again. If it feels okay, legs maybe go straight. Right, so just building a little heat. Folding forward, you're definitely going to feel the tops of your thighs if you straighten those legs. So just going nice and slow, pretty much noticing those sensations all along the way, each movement, even the leaning back. Just finding some fluid motion, tapping into that meditative state of moving the body, being consciously aware of where you're putting your body. Being aware of the sensations happening. Couple more rounds here. And then once you come back to that feet on the ground, taking the legs out to where they feel comfortable, and allowing yourself to either stay upright, maybe bring your hands and blocks forward, maybe round forward deeply in the spine. Just allowing yourself to lengthen forward in any way. And just settling in there and allowing yourself to move around, wiggle in, and then start to settle into that stillness. Just feeling the hips, feeling the spine. If you'd like to take that sensation all the way from the base of the spine up to the back of the head, allow that chin to kind of just drop into the chest for a few breaths. Got one more minute here. Taking a full inhale here. And let it go. Slowly round your spine up, bringing your head up last. And then helping those legs using the outside or pressing your hands to the outside of the knees, draw the knees up. Then extend them out for a moment. And again, just notice the sensations you're feeling here. Notice if you can feel that second chakra. Right there in the pelvis, right near the sacrum. Seeing that orange light start to grow. And then take any movements you need to let that go. Take any movements, anything you're going to need to let go of. So I'm going to give you the option. There are two options here. You can either do dragonfly, so legs wide. And again, we'll do a little bit of flowing first. Or you can go into swan with your right leg forward. And again, if you're going into swan, I'm not going to do this one, but if you're going to do swan, we're just going to inhale and exhale here. That'll kind of be our flow for swan. And then eventually you'll settle into your swan, your sleeping swan. If you're staying upright into dragonfly, we're just going to flow just nice and easy. Same thing, that knees might be bent, right? Exhale, forward. So taking whatever position you're going to take today, and then just kind of start that flow. So exhaling forward, and inhaling back up. And just nice and slow, find that little meditative state, kind of touching along those sensations that are happening in the body. Just finding that fluidity, that flow, just kind of helps the energy start to move, helps you feel your body, helps you tune in, so that when you start to settle into that stillness, you kind of know what you already have been feeling. It just allows you to tap into that a little bit more, especially I feel in this pose, if you're doing dragonfly with me. Then the next time you lengthen forward, start to pause there and just kind of wiggle the legs for a moment, let them relax. Maybe find a little rounding in the spine. Maybe your head rests on the block, on your hands on 2 blocks. Maybe your chin just rests on your chest. So start to breathe deep into that, noticing those sensations that you're feeling. Come back to that intention of I feel. Maybe repeating that little sound or creating that sound in your head of bum, 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 bum. And just feeling that go down your spine to that second chakra. About 1 more minute here. If you chose swan, choose to go to the other side. Slowly. And in that swan, if you're on the second side, having that inhale and exhale motion first. And nose and dragonfly, we're going to stay 1 more minute. If you need to come out of it, come up and just sit. Nose and swan, lengthen forward, pausing there. Just kind of notice what thoughts arose, what sensations arose when I changed the timer. And taking a full inhale here. Let it go. Slowly start to bring yourself up, bring your head up last. Those in swan, slowly start to transition out. And then helping underneath those knees, slide the knees up, slide the feet together, just come into a little tuck position, round forward, pause there for a moment. And then taking any motions you need to let that go. And then slowly start to make your way down to your back. Just pause there for a moment once you're on your back. Kind of notice the sensations here. Legs can be bent or straight, whatever's going to best suit your body right now. I'm going to take those feet as wide as your mat. Bend your knees if you straighten your legs. We're just going to do a little flow of windshield wiper legs here for a moment. So as you inhale, drop your knees to one side. Exhale, stay. As you inhale all the way over to the other side. And exhale as you stay. Just again, find that little meditative quality. Maybe feel the pelvis, the back, the sacrum, really pressing into your mat as you switch sides each time. And maybe you start to feel a little bit more energy at that second chakra. Maybe you start to see that orange grow brighter as we nourish that chakra. Brought some energy back to it, we balanced it. Going at these same poses, some of these same poses also helps with that root chakra, that Muladhara. Take a couple more cycles here, and then we're going to go into an easy twist. Just for a few breaths. So once both knees are all the way over to the left, take that right knee and slide it on top of the left knee. Just let the arms be where they are. Just kind of find that little twist. Take an inhale there. As you exhale, kind of release any energy that you have holding on muscularly. Let your jaw be soft. Let your shoulders relax toward the floor. Just kind of notice the sensations in the legs through the spine. Taking a full inhale here. Let it go. Take that right knee up and then the left knee up. Do one round of little windshield wipers. So that's both sides. And then when those knees get toward the right, slide that left knee on top of the right. Open up the chest. And then relax the body. Take a full inhale. Let it go. Kind of let gravity take over here. Let the tongue slide back away from the teeth. Let the back of the head grow heavy into the floor. Allowing yourself to be here in the present. Dropping into the twist with gravity. Noticing any other sensations that are happening. Taking a full inhale here. Let it go. Bring that left knee up, followed by the right knee. Do one more round of those wipers to each side. And then coming to center, keep the knees bent, press into those feet. Just lift those hips, give them a little stretch out in the front of the thighs. Engage the back side. And then slowly release the spine. Hug those knees into your chest, give them a little squeeze. Maybe rock a little bit, whatever's going to feel good here. Release those poses, take any motions you need to here. And then start to find your final resting position here, your space of stillness. Staying here a few minutes, opening up, taking any position that's going to be best to you. That could even be seated depending on how you're feeling today. But once you're there, kind of get out any little wiggles, get yourself comfortable, use any props, use any coverings. And then once you're there, take a full inhale. Sigh it out. And then taking those hands for a moment, placing them on that chakra again, placing your right hand on top of your left hand. And if you're comfortable, we're going to repeat that word bomb just for a few seconds. If you're not comfortable saying it out loud, saying it in your head. Bomb, 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 bomb. Two more. And inhale. Let it go. Keeping that image of that 6-petaled lotus flower, that upside down semicircle, that little smile, and that bright orange position right underneath your hands. And as you're comfortable, release the hands. And just feel the sensations in your body here. I'll bring you out with 3 bells. Take rest. Allow that next breath to come in a little deeper. Next breath, start to bring some motions back into the body, maybe starting with the fingers, toes, wrists, ankles, arms, legs. And give yourself a long stretch by reaching your arms back behind your head, slide your feet together. And then slowly bend those knees once again. Your choice, either give the knees a hug, or windshield wiper the legs, or taking any other motion that's going to feel good. And then as you're ready, mindfully make your way all the way up to seated. Find a comfortable seat. We'll be here for a few moments, just checking in, feeling the sensations of our body. So you have the option to take your hands, place them with your first finger and thumb touching, palms up. Or you can take that same position of your left hand on your belly and that right hand cupping the left hand over that second chakra. Just kind of notice the sensations here. Allowing yourself to come into this space, onto your mat, into your body. Just connecting with that second chakra. It's Svadhishthana. That bright orange, 6-petaled lotus with a little smile, the crescent moon. Seeing if you feel any more flow of your energy. Tapping back into that intention of I feel. And just noticing what you feel. Give it validity. Allow it to be. We'll seal our practice in with a sigh of the breath. Take it in again. Let it go. Bow your head for a moment. And allowing your lips to curl up into a smile as you raise your head. Thank you for being here. Namaste. Thank you for being online. Thank you for being here. Drink lots of water. Eat your veggies for some sunblock.